couple of experiences while I was in the NFL that made me want to pursue Raise. The first experience that had a profound impact on me was when I was volunteering with the Buccaneers, and I realized this needs to be much more seamless. This shouldn't be hard to find. So I wanted to build this app that could be like the open table of volunteering. And that's where like Raise started to form. And as I learned more about the nonprofit industry, how important it is in America, how important it is for people, I was like, oh, there's more I can do.
Streamer. Tribe Talk is a Streamer studio production. Stream your podcast, stream your story, stream yourself. Try it free at streamr.nyc. Make your voice, brand, and message seen and heard on every platform today.
Welcome to Tribe Talk, where we alternate between young changemakers and long-standing leaders in the social impact space. I'm here today with founder of Raise, Kyle Nassib. Thank you so much for being here.
Thanks, Kyle. I'm pumped to be here too. This is great.
And to be sure, Tribe Talk is sponsored by Raise, the mobile-first platform for individual activism, nonprofit fundraising, and corporate giving.
Yep.
So, whereas you can download it on Google Play and the App Store to give Volunteer and Connect, I'm very excited for how we've been able to start partnering together in order to bring this next generation of giving to the next generation of leaders.
Yeah, I think we're aligned on a lot of our goals, our North Stars, a ton of synergy. There's a really growing gap between the people who are a little older that are running foundations and nonprofits in America and the young people that are really eager to get involved. So bridging that gap is something that needs to be a priority for the industry and for people, you know, looking to solve real problems. And it's really fun that you guys are kind of in it too.
Yeah. I'm so excited to dive into your story. Of course, we'll dive into the work you're doing with Raise, and just how impactful that's become. Your perspective is definitely unique. But perhaps could we start before, right, on your journey getting started as an individual leader?
Sure. Yeah. So before I started Raise, I was in the NFL. Before I was in the NFL, I was at Penn State. Before I was at Penn State, grew up outside Philadelphia. You know, my high school and middle school, volunteering, giving back was always really big. I think the first time I was volunteering, maybe I was like 14 or 15, at a place called the Timothy School, where I was with children with, you know, severe autism. Did a couple things there. I became Christian service leader at my high school. That's where I met my best friends. We really bonded over having a positive impact on our classmates. And then when I got to Penn State, we did a ton of work with Special Olympics. You know, athletes from all over Pennsylvania came together at Penn State's campus. It was one of the most, you know, loving, warm-hearted, like just super fun events ever. And then of course, Penn State is known for having the largest student-run fundraiser in America. Penn State Thon raised, I think, $17 million last year for pediatric cancer research. And so, yeah, I mean, like volunteering, giving back, and philanthropy has been really consistent in my entire life through my upbringing, high school, college, professional career, and now it's actually my real career. So, yeah, I know the space. I've, you know, seen its impact, and I work with a ton of people in it, so it's been really great.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
I love that you also touched upon the fact that being part of volunteerism was what led to your community.
Yeah.
Right? Your friends through, you said you volunteered as the Christian lead?
Yeah, so the high school that I went to selects about 9 or 10 students from every class to be, you know, the service leaders for the year. And then we lead the class through, you know, retreats and various other things. So I was really happy to get that because it did mean a lot to me. It's like always looking out for other people, always being kind to others. You know, sometimes when I play football, I'm not kind to other people. I'm just kidding. So I said always being kind to other people. I was like, there are many times where I'm like, got to beat people up. So I Yeah, it was a really big, great experience, life-changing experience for me. It's where I met my best friends way back when I was, in high school, and that carried with me through college and, post-college career.
Right.
Yeah.
Recognizing that those that are making impact tend to be good people, and
Yeah.
having those around you is just what leads to like a good environment, a good life.
Yeah, and like, you are who you surround yourself with, and so if, giving back and helping other people is important to you, you should surround yourself with people that are like-minded that way.
Right.
And that's just a really good influence to have. If you have really good goals, you should, make sure that you're not surrounding yourself with the wrong people. And I think I did that from a very early age of, hey, we want to do the same things. Let's get together.
Right.
Yeah.
And I love especially the fact that you're surrounding yourself with people in person, right?
Sure.
I think that leads to that bonding that you're actually making like tangible impact. Whereas I think there's a challenge right now whereas people struggle to find opportunities to connect. Really, one of the solutions that you're building with
Totally.
Raise,
Yeah.
they don't feel that final click.
Totally. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of ways that people find differences with each other, and there's lesser and lesser places where people can find common ground. And when you do find those really strong points of common ground, those are relationships that really can last a long time and have a lot of fortitude to them. I think that volunteering and giving back is one of those things. We were talking earlier about kind of improving mental well-being and just overall mood, and like there's so much data out there around volunteering and what it can do for your mental health. A study out of Oxford showed that it is one of the most important ways that employees can up their mental health is to make sure that employers give them the opportunity to give back to their community. It was one of the only studies that shows statistical significance with improving mental health. And that's really not just for employers, but for young people as well. So yeah, I love when people get involved. It makes me happy. I love when, like when people I get to set these people up. Now I get to set people up with nonprofits for the rest of my life. So that's good.
Yeah. Well, way to put it back together into football. And certainly, to your point, perhaps you're not being nice to others on the other team, but you're supporting the team that you're with.
Sure.
Right? Having that community aspect is super important. Playing your part, really, in the broader project. Tell me a little bit more about. I mean, we've talked about it before. The journey from switching, really, from NFL into Raise.
Yeah.
And perhaps how you've noticed, because we've already discussed it from your lens.
Yeah.
But perhaps if you could talk about it in the way that you've noticed other people on the team and how it's affected them.
Yeah, the transition was pretty seamless for me, I think. I was, very happy with my career. I played 7 years in the NFL and over 100 games, and was captain of a team at one point, and just had a lot of fun. It was just really great going to work every day with my buddies. I don't miss getting hit. And, so the transition from getting hit for a living to now I tap on a computer every day, it's much better. But I was struck by a couple of experiences while I was in the NFL that made me want to pursue Raise. The first experience that had a profound impact on me was when I was volunteering with the Buccaneers, and I realized this needs to be much more seamless. This shouldn't be hard to find. So I wanted to build this app that could be like the open table of volunteering. And that's where Raise started to form. And as I learned more about the nonprofit industry, how important it is in America, how important it is for people, I was like, oh, there's more I can do. So it's kind of evolved from there. That makes sense?
Yeah.
Yeah.
How do you feel like nowadays you're working to build the platform and the community?
Yeah.
Are you still volunteering yourself?
All the time. I volunteer way too much. All I do is volunteer. Oh my gosh. I am on the board of, amazing organizations that require hours of work every week. I'm on the board of the Trevor Project, the largest youth suicide prevention for LGBTQ youth in America. And we do incredible work. We have the best staff, the best CEO. It has been a challenging 2025. We lost, the federal government cut over $20 million in funding from us, but we bounced back. The community really stepped up. And so working on that, I'm on the board of trustees at Penn State, making sure that as a public university, we can provide a world-class education for an affordable price. I mean, student loan forgiveness is one of the biggest things keeping young professionals from being homeowners, from getting out of debt. So I feel personally charged to make sure that as a trustee, we can offer and maintain such great education for a price that's affordable to young students. And then I'm on the board of my local United Way in Pennsylvania, where we focus a lot on food insecurity, mental health, job security, and I love working with United Way. I love their model. I love the motto that, when you're going to give back to charity, give locally first, right? Mm-hmm. Find your local United Way. Make sure that they're doing all right, because that's an investment directly into your community where you'll see a return on investment. So I work with those nonprofits. I have 4 hours of meetings tomorrow. So I do a lot of volunteering. For my 32nd birthday in April, I, with a bunch of Penn State grads, picked up garbage in Philly for my birthday, so that was really fun. I mean, I'm turning 32, it's raining in Philly, it's disgusting out, you're picking up trash in a park, and we had the best time ever. Like, we were laughing so hard. Me and my friend Rack, I miss you, I'll see you this weekend. She and I were crying laughing because her claw wasn't working, so she just had to stand in the rain, like barely picking up anything. So yeah, I do a lot of volunteering, a lot. Do you do a lot of volunteering?
Yeah.
Good.
And I love that. I love that you're using traditional celebrations that many people see as like about me, and making it about like you or them to bring people together.
Totally.
Right? And you're giving me a lot of ideas instead of perhaps just cooking for people for my birthday and then having them like appreciate the meal.
Sure.
Like breaking bread. I think being able to have a collective activism in person is going to be huge.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right. And you're right. There's the physical environment, there's the rain, there's the cold, there's the smells. And then there's the mental environment that you cultivate when you're volunteering. And I think that trumps all else.
Totally. It's the best. I love it. You can hang your hat. Like, I really enjoyed finishing my football career when I was 30 years old. And, there were some things that I never achieved. I never won a Super Bowl. I really wanted to win a Super Bowl. I never made it to the Pro Bowl. I really wanted that. And I didn't achieve everything that I wanted, but I know I can hang my hat and say, I really gave it my all. Like, I really tried as hard as I possibly could. And I know that, like, the last couple of years working with Raise, working with nonprofits, I know that, like, when the rubber meets the road, I can say, man, I really, like, worked as hard as I could. And I've gained so much respect for lifelong advocates, for workers' rights, for gender equality, racial equality, people who have really made it a career of theirs, because I've only been doing it for 2 freaking years, and it is a dogfight. Like, it is really, really naive to think that progress is based on inertia. Progress is based on constant enthusiasm, energy, focus, and things can be taken away. So I've only been doing this for a couple of years, and so I've gained such a huge respect for people that have made this in their entire career. But yeah, I just feel very motivated to bring, vital nonprofits as much support as we can. Right.
Something else that I want to explore with you is really, just like how people say that sleep is so important to someone's health, right? You have to sleep, it keeps you motivated. A lot of other people are becoming aware to the fact that mental health is important as well.
Sure.
And what you've described earlier and what we've seen ourselves hitting the 1-year mark, not yet 2 as yourself, and seeing the people that have done it for a long period of time, seeing their mental health for a long period of time, is that, yes, on one hand it's a dogfight, but there is this positive impact or persona that you get for doing work.
Sure.
So how do you leverage that recognition to encourage people to say, this is not a waste of your time to volunteer. It boosts everything you're doing from your career to your personal life.
Yeah, I think volunteering has kind of changed my life in many ways. Met some of my best friends, had some of the best memories, created a career out of it, and have just, you know, learned that, you know, something's easy, it's probably not worth very much. So if you're doing good work, hard work, that means it's of value. And, you know, it shouldn't be difficult to find things that you care about, right? Like there now is a platform and there's people like you who are like out there trying to galvanize and mobilize people who are willing to give. I mean, you know, if you're looking to give back, you're already kind of on the winning team. Only 50% of people in America give back to charity. Less than 25% of people volunteer. So like there is an opportunity to get more volunteers and there's more donors and stuff like that. But you know, if you're actively looking for things, like we already appreciate you. That goes a long way because not everybody is wired that way. Not everybody has the capacity for that. So yeah, it's just so when you do meet those people who are wired that way, it's really, really refreshing. And, you know, there'll always be like a positive influence on you. So for whoever is looking to get involved, when you find people that are actively involved, make sure that you hang around them.
Right.
That make any sense?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think whereas the start, when someone looks at your organization, sees that it's a solution.
Yeah.
I want to talk about how you're building more of a movement to encourage and lift those numbers up, to make it more accessible and opportune for more than 50% to get involved, more than 25% to actually volunteer.
Yeah. So there's two main stats that I think that people should realize, both people who work in the nonprofit industry and philanthropists as well, both sides of the coin. Most people are very used to Apple Pay, Google Pay, get in and get out. There's a massive transfer of wealth from baby boomers to millennials and Gen Z over the next 5 to 10 years. I mean, tens of trillions of dollars being inherited by Gen Z and millennials within the next 10 years. And they're going to need an avenue and a platform to give back locally, internationally, nationally, whatever it is, and making sure that people who already want to give are offered a pathway to do that. So, you know, building a movement is very, very, I would say, lucky. Do you know what I mean?
Lucky.
Like, you don't just like go out and start a movement because I want to start a movement. I feel like those are like lightning rod moments. You know what I mean? When something crazy happens, you know, people get really, really inspired. And so trying to materialize that is a little more difficult. We like are strategically identifying holes in the industry. We're strategically identifying trends in the industry and making sure that we're filling the holes and capitalizing on the trends. We think that businesses can do a lot more in philanthropy. If you had to guess how much of like donations came from businesses last year, what percent would you guess?
Oh, like 15?
15, yeah, it's only 6. So I asked that question at Goldman when I did my talk at Goldman Sachs, and they were like 80%, 90%. I was like 6. So businesses only accounted for 6% of all donations in 2024, which is pretty shocking. You know what I mean? You would think that corporations and you know, business leaders would be contributing a lot more, but it's actually not true. So I think that businesses can do a lot more. I think ultra high net worth individuals can do more. The population in America that gives the most amount to charity based on their income is actually people making $60,000 or less. Those are the people in America who are donating the highest percent of their annual income are people making $60,000 or less. It's because they have a touch point to their community. They're maybe, you know, more inclined to have used the services of a nonprofit. They maybe are involved with a religious organization where they give $10 a week or like $30 a month, whatever it is. So I try and get, you know, people who are doing really well in life, hey, make sure you give that 1%. Maybe you like volunteer more often. And showing that not just everyday young people can get involved, but like the business owners, everybody can do a lot more.
Right.
Yeah.
I think there's
that was
a
a
new.
tangent.
No, it's not. I think there's a new trend going on with the new generation coming into work. and saying they want purpose-driven work.
Yeah, that's real.
And whereas not all companies can necessarily directly say you sitting behind a desk is purposeful,
Yeah.
right, or gives you that, knowing that you're working for a company with a foundation attached
Yeah, that's
can
real.
really help move things forward.
Totally. Yeah. There are some statistics out there that I can get you, and I think I'm not misrepresenting them, but SAP is one of the largest corporations in America. They came out with some statistics about what employees care about from their employer. Obviously, benefits, insurance, 401k matches are at the top, but I think number 3 or 4 was supporting employee activism. So, and to your point, new employees, recruiting them, current employees, retaining them. It's a really high priority for them to feel like they're working for a business that is, purpose-driven, but also supports their purpose-driven work. So you're seeing a lot more of that with Gen Z. They're very socially conscious. They're very aware. They get media from a ton of different resources, so they can understand a lot of different complexities. And I think employers are going to really benefit from a competitive, workforce of, like, if we invest in our employees, we're going to get the investment tenfold.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
How do you feel like you see the future of Raise in the next few years? You've mentioned the corporate side and that 6% of giving goes there, and that's something you want to grow. You've mentioned the mass scale support and those that are traditionally lower income being the givers of the highest percentage of their profit. Like, where do you want to lead?
Well, I mean, do you think that the future of just philanthropy and mobile giving is like everybody going to 5 or 10 different websites throughout the year and making a donation there, making a donation here? I really don't think that that's where it's going to go. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think that there's going to be, hopefully raises that platform, but I think that there needs to be a hub to where something happens in the Palisades, something happens in Texas. Like, where does Kyle go to find a trusted organization, get involved, get his employer to match it, invite his friends, you know what I mean, see what other people are doing? That doesn't exist. And the reason why it didn't exist is because the people who were growing up with technology didn't have the capacity to give enough. But now that that's changing with this transfer of wealth and with young people now being, they're technologically savvy and they have funds to give, they have the capacity to give. So now there's going to be a demand for that. And I truly don't think that the future of philanthropy is all these people going to different websites. I think it's going to be one consolidated platform. Right? What do you think?
Yeah, I would almost ask if Raise is becoming, in my head, more like Instagram, like a social media page, but for nonprofit giving?
Yeah, I mean, we offer a really nice social platform because people want to celebrate the good of others. People want to highlight the things that they're doing. But, we offer a lot of different user journeys. We offer the volunteering, the social media. We're a fintech platform for businesses and individuals to capitalize on their tax incentives to do a lot more. But you can also use the social media part to kind of like build your philanthropic resume, right? Where you can kind of keep a track of everything that you've done over the last year or so. It's cool to see, great, I've donated to all these organizations, I've done this. So in that sense, it's like kind of like maybe not the Instagram, maybe the LinkedIn of philanthropy. Because, that's really endearing stuff and important stuff to track over years.
Right.
Yeah.
I wonder, just like how you've mentioned that companies it's a smart move for companies to align to their employees' philanthropic goals.
Totally.
Do you think that the opposite is true, where companies want to hire people with strong philanthropic goals?
Sure. Oh, that's a great question. Do companies, when they're going through the hiring process, ask their potential hires, how do they get involved? I mean, I always ask that, but I work in our businesses in the industry. I don't have any real knowledge or statistics to back an answer up, so I actually don't know.
But you said you asked yourself.
We ask our potential hires how they've gotten involved. I ask investors how when was the last time you got involved. Corporate partners, it's a really good level setting. I have no idea how much that is asked in a job interview, but it should be, because that is a really good judge of character.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, when you're trying to assess the quality of a person, but also ensure that, whereas your job as the employer is to ensure that they won't burn out working with you, that it'll align with their
Yeah.
mission and work, it should be the opposite too, where you know that they themselves are healthy and put together.
Sure.
Interesting. And I wonder if the fact that it's maybe not asked that much is because, to your point earlier, there is no yet like LinkedIn for nonprofit activism.
Yeah. I don't know. There has to be some sort of study that like employees who are actively involved in their communities stay at their job longer, higher performers, higher like EQ, maybe like the glue people at the office. So if there were studies out there that showed being more involved in your community led to higher output, then I think employers would care. So maybe we should do that study.
Right.
Maybe cook the books a little bit.
Cook the books a little bit.
Yeah.
I know on our end, we're looking at a very interesting new generation where there is extremely high unemployment rates and opportunities. And whereas traditionally when certain groups are unable to find jobs, they say that they're just not doing it right.
Sure.
Now we're talking about like a missing generation, a missing class. So however people are trying to understand like their avenue to get a job, whether it's applying to mass scale internships or opportunities, perhaps a new avenue can say, yes, you're working full time on finding a job.
Sure.
Not just working at a job. So to ensure that you're healthy and maintaining balance, we encourage you to find opportunities to get involved. Touch points with your community, you might end up finding a coworker or future employer through those activism.
Yeah, I think the job market is changing a little bit, and the hiring process is changing a little bit. I know from a lot of our contacts that applications of and resumes are being built from AI. They copy and paste a JD, a job description, and they put it in the ChatGPT, said, hey, make me a resume that fulfills all these things. And then so employers, when they put out a job description, maybe 2 years ago, they were getting a couple hundred applicants. Now they're getting tens of thousands.
Yes.
You know what I mean? And it's really, really tough for them to discern whether this person used AI to generate this job application and resume. So people are actually going back to friends of friends and mutual connections.
Yeah.
Like, hey, there's your, hey, my buddy's daughter is looking for a job. You should hire her. And there was a solution that I just read about recently, more about like personality tests that employers are now actively making applicants perform, so they know that they're real, they know that they're involved. That's not something that AI can fill out for you. You know what I mean? So to your question is like, how can young people kind of get in front of employers, get in front of businesses? It might be a lot more through connections and networking. So like do your networking through board work. Be a board member of a nonprofit. That's a great way to network, build out opportunities with people that are aligned with you. Yeah.
Totally. I've found the community that we've started to build in Tribe has definitely accounted to a lot of opportunities.
Oh, good.
Right? And it wasn't something expected at the beginning.
Okay.
Right? We were like, well, we're trying to make an organization that supports next generation leaders.
Sure.
And the people who came around that are very proactive individuals themselves who already want to align themselves with a philanthropy. To your point, it became a very interesting pool of good characters.
Yeah.
Right? Because giving back and putting your time in, we were finding that these people were super ambitious.
Sure.
And at the same time, giving time back to support future ambitious leaders.
Yeah.
Right? It does create this cycle, this community. So I've certainly been like trying to figure out in this conversation, like, is it a route? But I think I personally have come to the conclusion that, yeah, I encourage people to find ways to get involved in their communities and meet other people in person, because whether it's going to directly support your well-being, which helps you with the interviews,
Sure.
or whether it's going to help you get the interviews from finding
Yeah.
people, it's just beneficial all around.
Yeah, I agree. I think we're all better when we're looking out for each other. I've been around very successful people, and when the people I meet that are the most successful, they're really proud of themselves, all they want to do is help other people. You know what I mean? All they want to do is see other people grow and flourish. But when you're around people who might be bitter or feel like they're, they've been cheated and they're jaded, they kind of want to cut other people's dreams and ambitions really at the knees. So if you're the type of person who feels fulfilled, who feels like they have stuff to give and help other people, I just feel like also success will find you. When you have, not a scarcity mindset, everyone is always talking about abundance these days.
Yeah.
When you have that mindset, it really, it permeates into a lot of different things. I think one of my favorite things about the NFL is how much they are like leaders in
Right.
being involved in their community, how they can mobilize young people to, to get involved. Like they're NFL players, and a lot of professional athletes are leaders on the court, but then they're also leaders in their communities. Because being in the NFL, being a professional athlete, isn't something that you can get from a job from your dad. You know what I
Right.
mean? So like you can't. There's a lot less like generational privilege that comes into becoming a professional athlete. So a lot of these athletes feel like they know what it's like to either grow up in the middle class or lower middle class, whatever it is, and they want to give back to those communities and provide opportunities for people that were in the same positions as they were. So, I mean, I have been surrounded by some of the best like philanthropists through my sports career. So, I would say that like a lot of professional athletes that I know and admire are huge mobilizers and leaders in philanthropy.
I think perhaps what you're demonstrating is the fact that the people who make it to professional work very hard
Yeah.
at what they're doing. They're extremely ambitious, they're extremely proactive.
Yeah.
And those types of people, which you would mark technically, certainly as successful, they
Yeah.
made it to being professional, and are also being so philanthropic
Yeah, it's great.
and giving, there could be some sort of correlation there. But certainly, my thoughts are more to those that are
That's a great question.
aspiring, that don't make it, or are much younger athletes, where I think that's where there's a potential disconnect, where young athletic individuals are not looking at what they're doing physically as aligning to giving back.
Yeah, I think that the path to success is very difficult, to being great at something. And it's never a straight line. It's never without obstacles. And when you're trying to be the best version of yourself, when you're trying to achieve big goals, perspective is something that very few people have of, okay, great, I failed this. This is the worst thing that ever could have happened to me. I'm done. But like people who have perspective on their life is, okay, this was a setback. The broader goal's still here. I still have a lot to accomplish. One of the best ways to get perspective in life is to give back, is to say like, hey, I'm actually doing all right. Like I need to be thankful. I need to have more gratitude. I need to really get more aligned. And then like there aren't a ton of ways that people can actively practice really good perspective. And if you want to be successful, you're going to have to overcome obstacles. And when you're giving back to philanthropy, you see people overcome the toughest of obstacles. You know what I mean? That are overcoming illnesses, being differently abled, really overcoming the biggest. Like that's the most inspiring stuff you'll ever see. So if you're looking to be inspired, you're looking to gain perspective and use those tools to be successful in any industry. I think that like working with nonprofits is something that I can name so many instances of where I've seen stories, read articles, seen videos of people overcoming way tougher things than I ever had to overcome, and you need those touch points. So yeah, I think that professional athletes can do that as well.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
No, I love that perspective. It's really inspiring because not everybody gets to meet professional athletes, past, present, or future. And so to meet individuals that have worked so hard at a very, very specific niche,
Yeah.
and to recognize that they are working on something much bigger than themselves,
Yeah, it's great.
that is great.
Yeah, it's great. I love it. It makes me happy. Yeah.
Well, listen, Carl, thank you so much.
Kyle, thank you.
for
You're the
your
best.
time.
Yeah,
Like,
this is great.
It's truly it's truly something that I'm grateful for, that we were able to connect.
Totally.
And meet, that you were able to give time to not only myself, but so many volunteer opportunities and organizations out there, and support really this next generation being proactive, giving, volunteering, and connecting.
Absolutely.
As you say.
No, I love what you guys are doing. I think Tribe's work is incredibly needed right now. I'm excited to see how you guys evolve, how you guys progress, and to be kind of a part of it.
Blessings.
Thanks.
Thanks for watching Tribe Talk. Tribe Talk is a Streamer Studio production. Visit Streamer at streamer.nyc. I'm grateful to the team that made this happen. Executive producer David Walters, videography and editing by David Walters, and graphic design by Tristan Bresnan. Hosted by me, Kyle Matthys. Tribe, to the moon!